All right, it's a new day, people. What is today? Today is May the 7th, 7:43 a.m. And so when you have your own stuff going on, and you've done this your whole life, pretty much when you were a child, you had to create your own entertainment because nobody else around you had a lick of sense, You knew it as a child. Then when you got saved, it all started to make sense because most people are not saved. They're lost. They're hell-bound. And you learn to be self-sufficient, Even if you go to a church, a local church, some of the people in there are agents of Satan, and some of them are just ignorant and they never want to grow. So when you really meet Christ, especially if you see the Shekinah glory, you want to grow. You want to grow, and everybody else around you is stagnated, and it's like, I don't think so. I'm gonna go do my thing. I'm gonna go do my own thing, and y'all can just have fun in the 3D sandbox, because that's all it is a sandbox. And you keep going around the mountain, round the mountain, round the mountain. Some people, they can't believe if you see a situation that's toxic, they can't believe you just walk away. You don't need anybody else to support you or hold you up, because God holds you up. One with God is a majority. Moses, Paul, they didn't need anybody else. They had God, but they supported the church and built the church up, But most people are so tied into 3D and getting their identity out of 3D, they don't understand how you can function on your own without any support, without anybody except God. They don't understand that. The narcissist is so convoluted in their thinking that they think they can manipulate people that they think are isolated or whatever, and the isolation is by choice most of the time. And I don't even call it isolation, I call it solitude. I picked a career, and I can go get a job anywhere right now all day long. I don't even care how bad the economy is. There's always work. This scarcity lies a lot. Anyway, I picked a career where I can be myself, walk around, interact with people. I took the rideshare experiment, and I liked it. Different people. Not everybody's cool to be in your car with, but that's all right. It's a short ride usually. And I had a friend ask me, "Do you like what you're doing?" Yeah. And they were bitter. You could just tell by their voice that they were really not a friend. They were a frenemy, Do you like what you're doing? Yeah. They were frenemies the whole time. They were like Freemason handlers. And you thought, dude, what's wrong with you, man? Are you a snake in disguise, But you can see that your whole life. You go your whole life and you see these frenemies, snakes, shapeshifters, whatever. And so you get used to it. And it used to make you mad and you might feel bitter. They threw you under the bus or whatever. But because you graduated to a new level, the 5D spirit walk, that they don't even understand. God blessed you because you asked God what is going on, and He blessed you with the truth. And He showed you that 3D is cartoon land. And these people who you eventually realize are toxic, you don't care if you're out on an island by yourself for the rest of your life, you've got to get away from toxic. And they don't understand how you can be by yourself because they can't, because they're insecure. They cannot understand how you just function by yourself. I would rather be by myself in peace than be with Farrah Fawcett or whoever. Linda Carter. I'd rather be by myself than be with chaos and toxicity. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. It just ain't gonna happen. And they think through manipulation and projecting their junk onto you and gaslighting and mind control and witchcraft, and they think they can pull you back into their trap, their net, their snare, but it ain't gonna happen. I'm too happy. I'm too joyful and content by myself, and I look next door and I see all those guys. They live there in that halfway house, and they're all living there, and they seem to be cool. They're out of jail and they got them a place to stay. Then I got some renters. You never see anybody visit them, and they seem to be cool by themselves. And so some people out there can't imagine. They're so insecure and so weak, they can't imagine you can be by yourself and be happy or joyful. Because happy is up and down, up and down. I don't care who it is. If they're not loyal to you and dependable, and you can't call them or text them and say, hey, I'm in the hospital, they're not real people. They're not even real. When you realize a person who claims to be loyal to you, dependable, a helpmeet, it's like you want to laugh. Because you think, what planet are you from? What reality are you in? You know? And so when you finally say, I'm done, they can't believe it. And they cannot be introspective and look in the mirror. And maybe one day they might wake up. I doubt it. I was talking to a sister in Christ recently. She said they hardly ever get right. They hardly ever get saved or get right, you know. So this is my channel. I can talk about relationships. As long as I'm not talking about anybody, I can talk about it in general terms, and that's what I plan on doing, because the narcissistic system that you're raised in has got you blinded to the truth. Whoever you are, whatever you're going through, you don't even realize the system has blinded you, and most people don't even know what love is. Even if love hit them in the face, they wouldn't know what it was, you know. If truth if truth walked up to them, love and truth walked up to their face, they wouldn't know what it was. Because they've been in a world, a fake reality bubble of lies their whole life, so they don't know what truth and love is. They've just been in this little bubble that they think is normal, and it's abnormal. I noticed with my first marriage, the in-laws were all in a bubble. That fake reality bubble of those in-laws, they were saying and doing stuff that you thought, this is not normal. This is abnormal. I got to get away from this. And you didn't have the words back then. But then as you look back, you think, that bloodline that I was married into was so toxic. The Pentecostal bloodline, is so toxic that you had to run to save your life, because a cult. Look, when you leave a cult, which you never joined, you just married into a cult. You didn't know you were married into a cult, so you thought everything was cool. And then you realize it was a cult. You got to leave the state, and you don't turn back. But see, the cult members, they don't want to let you go. They think, how can you be happy without me? How can you be happy out there by yourself? Because I worked 3 jobs to survive. Blood, sweat, and tears is why. Moses, he was out there in the wilderness, right? They don't understand it because they're so dependent on the cult. They get their identity out of that cult, or out of that queen bee cult that they've created. They can't even understand how you don't need that. And you don't play these narcissistic games. You don't play these projection games. They actually have a blockage in them where they can't see their own sin. They have to project it out to somebody else. It blows your mind. I'm reformatting the channel, and I'm going to put some stuff on a DVD and a disc and a couple series, and I'm going to let you order the DVD or the thumb drive or whatever. I've got so much to do in the 3D, like remodeling and stuff like that, and working 2 jobs. I've got so much to do, I don't really have time for as much as I was doing. I have over time, I have come to the conclusion, resolute, that it's a new day. The past is the past. Like Paul said, forgetting those things which are behind. They don't even exist anymore. Certain people are not even real people. They don't exist. And the words that they speak out of their mouth has no weight. Has no weight on my emotions, my goals. Nothing they say has any weight. And it is what it is. Sorry. But most people are not ready for that. And most people are not ready for you to just go cold turkey and say, I'm done. Because they don't understand it. Because you have your own life. See, when you deal with narcissism that's really ingrained in a person, they can't understand that you're separate from them. They have this thing where other people are not autonomous. It's really weird. It's really weird. When you talk to somebody long enough and everything out of their mouth is convoluted and upside down and twisted and inverted, and then you finally say, you say to yourself, Lord, I'll let you handle them because I'm not going to handle I'm not a handler anyway, but I don't know how to handle this. This is so weird. I have to give that to you. And I have too much going on. That I have too much peace and too many goals and too many things happening that I don't have time to be a psychological counselor for anybody, you know. Because I'm not qualified anyway. All I can say is I do what God leads me to do. And if I'm smelling something, if I smell something, if it smells bad, it looks bad, it sounds bad, it feels bad, it's toxic as you know what, and you say F that noise and you move on. You move on because you're not going to deal with somebody taking away your peace. It ain't gonna happen. Period. I don't care if it's my mama, my sister, my brother, my wife, my coworker, my best friend. If you've woken up to what's really happening and you see how toxic this character in 3D is, it's over. If it's a female dating relationship, they can't believe you just go off by yourself in the twilight. They don't understand men that can be just by themselves. There's plenty to do. I can lift weights, push-ups, remodel, ride share, 2 jobs, clean the gutters out, mow the yard. I mean, come on. There's too much to do in life to be thinking that you need somebody. All you need is God. You don't need another person. But these people don't understand you because they don't know the peace of God that passes all understanding. You really think that you need somebody besides you all the time? No. Go find you a local church and get in a church family if you can. Most of the time the churches are legalists. The legalist churches are your worst enemy. Go join a church. Go down to Goodwill, get you a nice shirt and some pants, and go down there and find you a church family. And say, hey, I need some help. But you don't really need help. They need you most of the time. Because most of the people in there are just weak. I hate to say it, but, you know, God uses the weak things of the world to confound the wise, so that's a good thing. But when God's strength gives you faith and He makes you strong, you still are weak in the flesh, but most people are in there not to seek God. They're in there because they're seeking people. And they're trying to yoke up with people to manipulate people. in the local church. So that's what I mean. They're weak. Instead of them running to God, they try to run to mankind. And the Bible is very clear. Don't trust in horses. Don't trust in chariots. Don't trust in man. Don't trust in woman. Don't trust in nobody, because everybody's going to let you down eventually. And where are they when you need them? If I was in the hospital, why can't I call them? Why can't I text them? Why can't they come up there? Because you don't even like being around. You don't even like having a conversation with them. They can't even have a conversation. That's the sad part. So you live your whole life and you see people who are just fake. And then when you cut them off, they're like, why'd you cut me off? Because you're fake. You're fake. Go away. Find Jesus. Come back when you get real. But they usually never get real. If they've lived their life fake, that's all they know. And that's probably the way they're going to the grave. Those fake reality bubbles are real, people. And so God allowed me to see how real it is. And you don't want to be a part of it because they're in delusion.